Hi guys, okay, so today I'm doing my first YouTube video. Right now, me and my husband are going through the K-1 Fiance visa process. When I go on YouTube, I can find tons of things about hair, makeup, relationships, acne, hacks, pretty much anything, but one thing I noticed they don't have a lot of is the steps and how to do the visa processes, especially the K-1 Fiance visa. It's not the most popular one to do, so I'm going to talk today about how I am preparing my packet for the green card or resident interview that we're about to go to October 19. This is my binder that I picked up. It's a 2-inch binder, and you will definitely need a 2-inch binder because mine has this many documents. It's ridiculous, I know. So the other thing you're gonna need are little tabs, and I like these. They're really handy. A Sharpie just to highlight the important things that you want to point out in your paperwork, and you are going to need the clear insert pages. This is what they look like. And I thought I would only need a couple packs of those. There's 20 in each one. I ended up buying 5 packs of them, and I barely have any left over. So you're gonna need more of those than you think. They want a copy of every single thing you put in here, because if you put your original birth certificate like I have here and they want to keep it, they might take your original and keep it. So what I do is turn this around here. I have the birth certificate, the original on the front, and then on the back side I have the copy. And I do that for each document. Since my husband is from Mexico, his birth certificate is obviously not in English. So every single document that's in here, make sure you have the original, a copy of the original, and a translated version and a copy of the translated version. Also make sure that any translation you get is certified and has their company stamp and a signature. So that's the first thing I have in here, because the first thing they're going to ask for when you go in to the interview, well, first they're going to put you under oath. Secondly, they're going to ask for your identification. So for me, the petitioner, I'm going to need either my birth certificate, my passport, probably a social security as well. So I did a copy of my passport and my social, and I'm going to bring the actual as well. The next thing that I did was, well, first they send you a checklist of everything you need. It's one of the Notice of Actions Form I-485, and they give you a list of what to bring, but sometimes it can be a little confusing and overwhelming because, I mean, look how many documents it is, and the list doesn't seem that big when you look at it like that. So the first thing I decided to put in the binder after the identification forms, like our IDs, our birth certificates, and passports, all the letters that I received from the government, from the most current to the oldest. So obviously the first one that I'm going to be putting in there is the one they just sent me about what I need to bring to the interview. The next ones are just a bunch of the other documents, more I-797s, the one where he got his employment authorization, his EAD card, the ASC biometrics appointment, the receipt that they received, the I-765. Also within our process we got a request for initial evidence, so I put that in here as well. the I-485 to register for permanent residence, which is the interview we're about to go to. And then I have some older stuff in here back when we did the I-129F, that's in here, the G325As, where he got his actual card, like the thing they sent his card on because it came in a different letter. I have the actual form of the I-765, the payment of when I paid for that, that ended up being $1,225. I also have the, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but Carta de no antecedentes penales, and that is like that he's not a criminal and stuff. He got that when he was in Mexico, and I actually still have to get that translated. The next thing I have in here, which I'm not 100% sure I do need this, because it says in here that I need a completed affidavits of support from me and any sponsors that I may have, which I do have a sponsor because we don't meet the required amount of money that you have to make per household to be a sponsor. I don't meet the requirements for that, so I do have a sponsor. So I have the form, the I-134 in here. I also, towards the back, have the more current one, which I'll get to in a minute. This is just more the G325As, the letter of intent to marry from before he got here. Okay, the next thing I have in here is our marriage certificate, the one with the stamp on it. Definitely want that. And then just the thing where you sign and you have your witness, and it says, I was married on this day by this person. We also have our vows in here, the originals and a copy, both his and mine. After that, I just have the original cards from our wedding to show that it wasn't just us at our wedding and that we do have support from family. Okay, the next thing I have is my dad paid for our little honeymoon suite that we got, so I have his email that they sent him, and he wrote a little note to like enjoy yourselves. And then I picked up a thing from where we actually stayed, and I put that in there. We did something in our church together, and they had both of our names on the church bulletin. So I put that in here as well because that shows that we're active in the same church. Pretty much anything that you can get that shows that you're living together, you're married, you're actually in love, you're doing stuff with your family and your friends and your church, anything like that is amazing. I have a birthday card that my grandma got for him. And then the next thing I have is, I call it like just proof of our relationship. And this is a birthday thing he did for me. These are actually Facebook print-offs of like posts that I put from Instagram, pictures that he took of me, my boarding passes when I went to see him, when he was still living in Mexico. Pretty much everything that I've ever sent to the government is in here, from the first packets that I sent in to the one that I just sent in. I have the book it confirmation from when I went to Cancun to stay with him. I have a letter that I wrote to him, a copy of that, a letter he wrote to me, a copy of that. I also have some more cards here I wrote to his mom. I actually wrote it in Spanish with the help of him. He actually drew a picture of me, so I put that in there. I printed out our phone records and I highlighted the numbers that were to him and the times of how often we talk to each other. So that's really good to have in there because that's a really hard thing to fake. Okay, the next thing I want to say is really, really important. And I have this titled for my tab, a little tab here. I have it, Proof of Living Together is the title. And the first thing I have on here is our rental agreement. You are going to want to have your rental agreement, or wherever you stay, something that says that you're living together. No matter if it's a statement from your renter, if you don't have a rental agreement, which I recommend getting anyway, even if you don't need one. The next thing we have is account agreement from our bank. And the next thing I have is we're both on our car insurance, and it says both of our names on there. The next thing I have is we both work out at Anytime Fitness, so I went there and they actually printed us out an account thing showing that we have the same number and it has both of our names on it. But just stuff like that really does prove that we are married. This is some of our bills from CenturyLink, NIPSCO, the water bills. This is just a letter that we were sent from State Farm. Has both of our names on it with our current address. Okay, the next thing I have is pay stubs. Pay stubs, you want your most current ones. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pay stubs in here and a copy of them. Don't forget copies. The next thing I have is my 2016 tax, my whole huge document of my taxes. Okay, the next thing I have in the binder, after my sponsorship things and my pay stubs and taxes, I have sponsors information. And first I have their proof of being a United States resident, so I have his passport, social security, and then I have his whole tax document form as well from 2016. And then I have some older pay stubs and more current pay stubs. I have, which it actually says on the paper you don't have to bring it if you already did it, but I'm just going to bring it in case they ask any questions about it, and that is his medical exam done. It's a huge document, but I have that in here as well as the receipt from the $306 that we paid from that. And I put that in the back because that's stuff I don't know if we're gonna need it. I try to put the most important things towards the front of the binder. That is it right now. I'm still adding a few last minute things, but for now, that is what we have in our binder for our interview that's in 2 weeks. Oh, hello.
It's okay.
He just got out of the shower. It's my husband. Anyway, anything with both of your names on it, rental agreements, you're also going to want photos, and then any other document regarding your relationship, whether it's vows, whatever you can possibly think of, that shows that you're living together and that you're married and that you actually do love each other and you don't just want a green card. I would say that that's it. I'll be doing another video after we go to the interview about exactly how it went down and if I would do anything different from my setup that I already did now. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you guys out because I know how stressful it is. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.